On the last episode, I somewhat accidentally was the highest bidder of a 2011 Mustang GT. I just bought a car. Oh shit, I just bought a car! While I was excited about the car, the reality of the fact that it was in Tennessee and I was in Colorado was really starting to set in. After briefly considering having it shipped, I decided to say screw it, I'm gonna go on a road trip. So I booked a flight last minute and made plans to leave less than 24 hours after winning the auction. Unfortunately, Mother Nature had other plans. You never really know what's going to happen flying out of Denver International in the winter, and on this day, it decided to dump snow. A few flight delays later, my original plan was in major jeopardy. We did end up finally taking off, but by the time I got there, the sun was setting. After signing the paperwork with the buyer and handing over the check, I started my journey back in the dark. An introduction to the car would have to wait until the following morning. Welcome to birds chirping and lots of humidity, and that can only mean one thing. We're in Cincinnati, a place, if you follow the channel for a long time, I actually started my YouTube channel here, and I figured, it's only a couple hours away from Knoxville. Before I head back to Colorado, might as well stop over here, see some friends. Let's do a quick tour of this S197 Mustang. Grabber blue, as you guys are already well aware. And I've gotten to know it a little bit. We're gonna go for a drive here in a bit. I'm gonna bring you along for that. We'll talk about the driving characteristics, but overall I'm pretty happy with this thing. I sort of expected it to be what they call a driver's car or a driver's version, whatever they call it. That basically just means it's not nice. It's a little bit rough around the edges. There's some, rock chips and it's clearly been stored outside. It's a bit weathered, but that's sort of why I want it. I don't want to care about it too much, and I just want to enjoy driving it. So it's got some, frankly, pretty heinous aftermarket wheels on it, which I don't love. I'll probably change. It's got some sort of Coney Sport suspension. We'll talk about how it drives a little bit later, but overall, like I said, there's some rock chips. Let me show you the inside here. The inside is pretty clean. After all, this thing has 138,000 miles, so it's going to show some wear. But the thing I will do is pop the hood, and we're going to have to check the oil because I didn't yesterday when I bought it. The funniest part about this whole experience is I've purchased a fair number of cars remotely. And, normally I do my due diligence and I get there. I haven't purchased the car before I get there, so, I check it out and then I hand over the check. In this case, with the auction, I was already on the hook for buying it. So I didn't even check this car out when I arrived. I literally just got there, they handed me the keys, and I was more or less off. But shout out to the folks I bought it from. They were super nice, father and son, Mark. This is a big part of the reason I bought this car is because they had replaced the engine and the oil looks pretty good. It looks really clean actually, but I'm mostly curious about the level. This engine has about 8,000 miles on it. It was a remanufactured unit from Ford, cost about $7,000 or $8,000 for just the engine. I think they spent about $13,000 replacing it and the clutch and a bunch of other things. So as Mark said in the post, tough to say. As Mark said in the post, or when I got here, he said, well, you basically bought an engine and they threw in a car. So let's check the oil here. This is like the world's longest dipstick. It doesn't want to go in. And there's no oil. So the whole thing about the engine, should probably look into that.
After putting more oil than I would have liked into a brand new engine, it was time to hit the road for a local car meet.
can see why people end up in crowds. Because I got close to this car meet, and the car wanted to go sideways. It wanted to kill somebody. Where do I park?
I guess let's go straight.
Caffeine and Fuel is a newer but highly trafficked event put on by a friend of mine at the MedPace campus more or less in the center of town. I've heard that there can be some heavy hitters there, so we had to check it out and bring down the average vehicle value in the process. With some rain in the forecast, it was time for me to hit the road to give the Mustang its first true shakedown.
All right, here we go. S197 Mustang, first impressions. Back in a V8, baby. Slamming gears. Oh, that feels good. These cars are not meant to be driven lightly. They are, I'm tingling. They just achieve different things than other cars. There are precision machines, and there are definitely spaces in the world for precision machines. I quite like them, but then there's room in the world for hammers, and this thing is a hammer. I just love a V8 engine that you can just spin the tires at will, man. This thing has power, and these tires are trash, so it doesn't have a lot of grip. And you know what? That makes it fun. Less grip actually makes this a more fun experience. Not so much in the twisties, of course, because it's like, oh, wants to kill you if you don't have enough skill with the Mustang. We've seen what happens online. One of the things, outside of this engine being amazing, one of the things that I was curious about, because I come from an S550 Mustang I owned a few years ago, this does feel a little bit smaller, and I really like that about it, because that was one of the complaints I had about the S550. It was so big on the road, it's so wide, it's long, and you just have less room to play in between the mustard and the mayo, as they say. So I like how this is a little smaller. You can definitely feel how it's a little more primitive on the suspension, particularly in the rear, but it's not bad, actually. Over bumps is when you notice it the most, but it's not that bad. And look, this feels very similar to the S550, and that is a completely different generation, but ultimately same engine, same gearbox, so that's probably a big part of why it feels similar. But this feels uniquely Mustang, I guess you could say. And it's been great so far. I mean, look, this is not a show quality vehicle, and that is why I purchased it, as we've already talked about on the exterior, but this thing drives pretty good. The only complaint I have, and we're gonna have to stop at my friend Brian's place to see if we can resolve this, is there's quite a shake at highway speeds. So I don't know if a wheel weight is out. It kind of feels all over the place, but I definitely feel it through the steering wheel. So before we hit the road, let's go and see if we can make my 17-hour drive home less bad through less shaking of the steering wheel.
Unfortunately, I didn't outrun the rain, but I did manage to keep it between the mustard and the mayo to see my buddy Brian. He was such a legend for allowing me to swing by last minute. He put the car on the lift to give it a once-over, probably something I should do before driving 1,200 miles, and then he went through and balanced all the tires. Each one was over 2.5 ounces out of balance, and if you know anything about tires, that's a lot. I felt confident leaving the following day that I'd have a much better driving experience.
Send it, man.
Oh, the lovely drive across the plains. I've done this drive more times than I'd like to at this point, sometimes in boring cars, sometimes in fun cars. The Mustang definitely is more on the fun side, but fortunately it's not too punishing even with the lowered suspension. In some ways, this is what this car is meant to do. It's a GT car meant to soak up miles. I just wish the exhaust was a little bit quieter because after 17 hours of driving, I was ready for a sensory deprivation tank. While my mind was up for the 17-hour task, my aging back was not. 13 hours in, I decided to stop over for the night, and I'd finish the drive the following morning.
$1,500 miles in a Mustang. I was just about to shoot this video, got my GoPros going or set up, about to click record, and I was driving adjacent to a cement truck, and a giant hunk of concrete or rock or whatever just came and annihilated my windshield. There is a massive crack that will absolutely not fixable and will need to be the windshield replaced. I am 10 miles away from my house. You never know when that kind of shit can happen. So what have I learned in 1,500 miles with the Mustang? Well, I'm exhausted. Look, these are not that refined of vehicles, and that's not a surprise to anyone. This, of course, specific Mustang is exacerbated because of like a exhaust that is loud. So it's droney. There's a lot of wind noise with the frameless windows, particularly going across Kansas where it's windy. The suspension is lowered. So a lot of this stuff is self-inflicted, right? You go across like bumps in the highway and you're constantly jarred. It's been a bit of a rough journey. Not that rough, though, by any means. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm driving a 1950s car across the US. What is good about it is the gearing. It is like, I'm doing just below 80, and it's like 2,200 RPM. This thing in 6th gear just kind of lumbers along, gets decent fuel economy, has good torque, right? I never have to change gear on the highway. I can just put my foot down and it has enough torque. So there's definitely positives as well to this thing. And you know what? It just looks good. I constantly get a view in the hood or of the hood, and also in the rear view mirror I can see the rear haunches. It's been a good vehicle on this trip, and you know what? Look, any car that you can get in and drive 1,500 miles means it's a reliable car, doesn't it? So I'm super happy with it so far. I'm loving the V8 noise. I'm loving the manual. Guys, if you made it this far in the video, thank you very much. You will see more from this Mustang on this channel. I'll have really just some unshitifying to do. I don't like these wheels. I might change the suspension. and I'm certainly going to have to change the windshield now. But it's been a great trip, and in a way, for content, sometimes like things going wrong, it goes better, you know, but it was uneventful. Unfortunately for content, fortunately for me to be able to make it back without issues and in relative comfort. So look forward to more episodes. If you have ideas on what I should do with this Mustang, let me know. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Peace.
I truly hope you enjoyed this trip with me. Did I get a great buy, or did I buy a hunk of shit? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know what you'd like to see next in this car. I have a couple mods in mind already, so hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future content.